afternoon and welcome. I'm Karen Marsdale on staff at the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance, and we're here for another episode of Member Spotlight. And I am thrilled today to have a couple with me who are doing really cool things in our community, and I didn't know about it, and so I'm happy to welcome Rich and Amy Johnson from Pollen Consolidated. Now, I have to ask this question before we get into the heart of what you do. Where did the name come from?
Well, the Pollen, we were putting our business plan into place and formulating it into our heads and going through names, and Pollen kind of, I don't know exactly where it came from in my head, but it felt like something that's organic and outreaching and touches all kind of facets of life, and it felt like the right kind of fitting for what we wanted to do. So
Cool. Well, it's not forgettable, so that's really cool about it. So, and I know that when I walked into this building, which is a very neat building on Penn Street in Reading, it just exudes what the beat that can happen here in Reading, and is happening, and people like you are doing things that are making that happen. So tell me about, because when I read the description of the business, it might not thoroughly exude what it is that you're doing. So let's talk about that from your perspective.
go ahead.
Okay, so what we're doing is arts and entertainment based events. We do private events of all sorts and corporate events also. We do a lot of stage production work, but we're really focused in the area of arts and entertainment, where we feel like we can kind of bring a unique twist to events and just try to elevate the artistic elements. So we're very lucky to work in the tri-state area with a lot of our regional partners. We work with Arts Quest in Bethlehem, where we're fortunate to present 10 Days of Silent Disco, which is one of our products that we present there for all 10 Days of Music Fest. We've been doing that for the past 3 years. So that's they're definitely one of our big community partners, and we love doing that event. It's the biggest free music festival in the United States. So it's a pleasure to be a part of that. We work with a lot of art organizations as well in York, Pennsylvania. We work with the Cultural Alliance of York, PA.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes, so we have a lot of experience working with them to help produce everything from lighting to stage production. We provide entertainers. We've worked with visual artists there and video artists as well. We do work in Harrisburg. We last year had the pleasure of working with the Sprocket Mural Works folks to do a large 10-day mural program they did, and we were able to do the kickoff party for that, which involved a very large 3D map live video installation.
Wow.
So that was super cool. So we work in the region, in the tri-state area, doing these type of things where we've come together through my background in entertainment and Amy's background in business and corporate events. She kind of helped elevate the things that I was doing as an entertainer and helped me get a little better perspective of where we might be able to go with them. So we pushed things forward that way, and through doing that in the region, we realized that one place where we really felt like we needed to get back to working was right here in our backyard. And we've had wonderful opportunities in Reading, and we're very excited about having the spotlight in the chamber to tell more to our neighbors about what we do.
Well, that's great, because I think it's sort of this tipping point, if we call it, in Reading, where people are ready to say it's time. Instead of continually massaging some of the problems, let's talk about the solutions. So we're solution driven. I think the chamber is, and I like to see people like you folks that are too. Now it's interesting because you've got this kind of arts background, entertainment, and you said something, Amy, about being business directed. So in let's say in a former life, were you actually in a corporate environment or in event planning or in something that...
So I worked in pharmaceuticals for 20 years.
I
was an executive assistant at 2 main pharmaceutical companies. And so I did their private events for my bosses. I did corporate events. I did all of their planning, essentially. So I came from a very regimented, way of working. And I mean, it was a great experience. I'm so grateful that I did that work for so long.
But you know what, it probably also helps you today as entrepreneurs doing what you're doing, because sometimes when you've had to go through that, everything fits in the box type of an environment, you can translate that to what you're doing sort of free-flowing. Because I think so often entrepreneurs are not thinking maybe about the bottom line. They're not thinking about, they're trying to give away too much. And I could see that Rich is laughing because it is clearly a challenge, and I think with all of us who want to do what we love and our passion, we tend to do that. But I think this is really a very unique concept that you're doing, because you're kind of going from, it's not just one type of venue. You can be very multifaceted. Tell us more about what you want the audience to hear about your dreams and desires of what you're doing, not only in Reading, but obviously you're working in the region, which is hugely commendable. You've obviously got a following, and you've got some branding behind you. What would you like to see in Reading?
Well, I guess, what we'd like to see in Reading, I really believe, as you said before, we really feel like we are at a tipping point. Amy's lived here most of her life, and I've been here 20 years now. And we see a lot of great activity in the community. We see a lot of individuals and private businesses stepping up to kind of take responsibility for downtown. And it's nice because there's so many nonprofit and civic organizations that are structured, and just like the Chamber, that are always restructuring to try and find alignment and really push things forward and spearhead the movement in Reading. And it really feels like the time is now. We see it in all the surrounding cities where we work. And for us, part of what we do is just kind of trying to model the things that inspire us in those environments and bring them back home with us. And I think that's what everybody in Reading is really doing, is finding inspiration to help lift the city up. We have a very rich history, and we have a diverse group of people that are all moving in one direction at this time, and it's a really nice feeling. And I think through community partnerships, which is something that is the greatest thing. We touched on the name Pollen and Amy's concept about Pollen and how that came up, but we didn't talk about the consolidated part of that. And as corporate as it sounds, or as maybe logistic oriented as it may sound, it really comes down to a matter of bringing things together with all that life force that Amy talked about. The idea of consolidate is that we can work with other partners in the community and bring everything together as one. So we're seeing that now on the work we get to do downtown with the Downtown Improvement District Authority. Chuck and the team over there have been wonderful. All the wonderful nonprofits downtown that we're able to work with, Habitat for Humanity. We've had great experience with Habitat.
Great people.
Olivet Boys and Girls Club. We're setting up for an event for the Reading Public Library. So,
Bronwyn is just so smart, and so there's just excitement there too.
Yes, absolutely. And with Amy's other business, she got involved with the Penn Street Market. And
yes, exciting that we're going to be managing the Penn Street Market.
Yes. And very excited to hear that. So we know that that's going to really up the exposure for the market, which is exciting for all the vendors involved.
I can envision the Penn Street Market at some point in time. We're doing it when the weather's good, but just think how cool it could be if we find a space where it just grows like other markets have been, in Lancaster City, etc.
The Central Market is wonderful.
There is no reason why we can't do that. So Amy, I'm going to give you a little plug because I love women-owned businesses. Women are starting businesses at a faster rate than men, so I am just thrilled. So let's just talk a wee bit, because I know we're kind of running over time, about your other business, which I think is pretty fascinating.
Yes, I run a business called The Loving Spoonful, and we run it together. But
I love the name, The Loving Spoonful.
And that actually was, Rich came up with that, honestly. But
borrowed, obviously.
Yeah. It's infused olive oils and balsamic vinegars, and I work mainly at the local farmers markets. I have a couple retail spots. I have a lot of customers that just contact me directly now, and I also do, larger festivals. So
there must be something secret in the sauce of what you put into both the infused olive oil and the balsamic olive oil, the balsamic vinegar rather. And I did have an amazing lesson years ago in Italy on balsamic vinegar, and I have a new appreciation for what's real and what's not real.
Yeah.
Very good.
So I commend you, and so we'll be looking for great things too from your. So two entrepreneurs in Reading doing great things. Thank you for being a part of the Chamber, and I see a lot of synergy too there for what we're trying to accomplish here in our great downtown.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Karen, for the time. It's been a pleasure to speak.
It's been fun.